Hello, everybody, and welcome to the HCW Podcast. This week, we are going to be reviewing WWE Friday Night SmackDown, WWE Monday Night Raw, AEW Saturday Night Collision, and AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite. Stay tuned. It's going to be a good one. Roll intro.
HCW Reviews.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. I am your host, Frozzy. This week, alongside my co-host, DP. How are you doing, buddy?
Hello. I'm glad to be here once again. Is this the first time you and me have done this show?
No.
Okay, it's not. I thought not. Okay, no, I'm getting all my weeks mixed up nowadays, but
Yeah, same. But no, Rate was. I think he went on holiday a couple of months ago, maybe.
Yeah.
And we did it back then. I'd have to go back through the episodes and look, but I'm 100% sure we've done this before. Because when we do it, it always goes long. So.
Well, I mean, we had, what was it? Me and Rate 2 weeks, you and Rate 2 weeks, and now me and you.
Yeah.
For 2 weeks.
Yeah, for 2 weeks. Yeah. It's funny how that's worked out actually.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, I'm doing that. I'm doing all right. How you doing, mate?
Just, apart from being a bit tired, yeah, all good. Like finished work for 4 days now, so.
Oh, that is bliss. Yeah, that is bliss.
Back in next Tuesday because obviously we record this on a Thursday. It is Thursday, isn't it?
I hope so.
Days just go. But yeah, so when everyone sees this on a Friday, I will probably be enjoying my first day off. So yes, let's go. How many days? You've got a few days left, haven't you? Or is it just tomorrow?
So I'm on working. I'm working still until next Thursday, and then I've got the Friday through to that next Wednesday off.
Right. Okay. So you're working all weekend?
Mm-hmm.
That is grim.
Yes, it is.
I didn't think your job did weekends because you always work.
It does occasionally. So it's typically Monday to Friday, but it does sometimes include a weekend.
Right. Okay. Is it quieter at weekends? Or...
Oh, it's definitely quieter, but
Nice.
we get more accidents.
Ah, yes.
Because I work in the NHS, for those who don't know, but we get. Yeah, it's not pretty on the weekend because everyone's out and about doing their own thing.
Yeah. Well, speaking of accidents, let's get into this week's wrestling. We will go forth with Friday Night SmackDown because, as you all will know now by now, we have decided to go WWE first and then AEW because they, in their infinite wisdom, decided to add a show. So yes, kick us off with SmackDown and we will get rolling.
Okay, so we have SmackDown for the 11th of August. We kick things off with a match. Charlotte Flair and Asuka coming off the SummerSlam shenanigans. The match ends with a no contest when Damage Control interfere and attack both Charlotte and Asuka. So yeah, great way to kick off the show.
Yes, 9 minutes in and interference in an Asuka Charlotte match. Just what we wanted.
I mean, I rated 2.5 stars. It was fine until the intervention happened.
Yeah, it was fine until it wasn't.
Yeah, pretty much. But moving on from that, we go backstage. We're going to interview with Santos Escobar, who's basically just, he's confident he's going to beat Theory later on. Until Theory attacks him backstage, and he's then seen clutching at his leg. So we're potentially looking at an injury angle here. And then we get another backstage thing where he's shown with an ice pack on his leg. So confirming pretty much the injury angle.
Yeah.
Then we go into the match you've probably seen on Twitter, or at least one part of it on Twitter. AJ Styles and Karrion Kross. So Styles wins the match with Styles Clash, following Michin dispatching of Scarlett. I rated 2.5 stars. The feud rivalry aside, it wasn't a bad match. There was that mishap that again has been seen everywhere on Twitter, where a move that AJ never fucks up.
Yeah.
He fucks it up because of Cross sandbagging him. But
yeah.
Outside of that, it wasn't a bad match, but it just feels like they're prolonging this unnecessarily.
Yeah, it's just like I feel like every time I see this match, AJ Styles wins, and it's just like, why am I still seeing this match?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what they're doing here. I mean, Carrion probably needs to win more now at this point, but I don't think he will get the win.
No, I mean, if you're wanting to build Karrion Kross to do anything other than what he's doing, he needs to win a feud.
Mhm.
Like AJ Styles' career isn't done, but he doesn't need to win at the same time.
No, precisely. But yeah, it was okay. It was just there and did what it was meant to do, I guess.
Yeah.
Moving on. Edge is here. He's very happy to be here. And at this point, I panicked because I forgot what my notes were because I wrote it on Friday on a Saturday. And then I realized it does like Edge is here. He does his entrance, and then it cuts backstage before the Edge bit. So it was very weird how they paced that out. But we go backstage with Austin Theory. He's upset that he can't defend his title now because Santos is injured. He calls Santos toilet paper because he's soft and breaks easy. And then Rey Mysterio confronts him backstage, and he's held back by some random guy who is either security or personnel. I don't know. We go back to Edge, who's in the ring. He talks about being as long in the business as he has. His life-threatening injury, his career-threatening injury. How he had to retire, and then he came back from injury. And he mentions there's one guy he hasn't faced in his whole time here. That person being Sheamus. At which point I went instantly onto Cage Match and looked it up, and I was like, "Oh shit, they've not actually had a match."
Yeah, I know. It was wild. When I saw it, I was like, "Huh?"
Yeah, precisely. I think they had a few house show matches, but never actually on TV.
Yeah.
Which I thought was mad in itself. But yeah, anyway, we're getting that. Sheamus and the Brutes come out, and he's like, "Hey fella, I'll fight you, and afterwards we get a Guinness."
Yeah, I was going to say there's a bit of history in there as well that Edge talked about. So,
in
that he helped him get ring ready and stuff.
Oh yeah, no, they show like this footage of like them doing like bicycle riding in the forests and stuff.
Yeah.
And then Edge falls over on the bike, and then he's got a bruise on his arse, and then
yeah.
And then he's like, "You're showing what else on TV?" And then Sheamus is like, "Well, you're showing a lot more than that on TV, haven't you, fella?" But it was an air promo. It was these two basically being like, "Hey, buddy, yeah, you're my buddy," and then it was like, "Hey, we're buddies, right?" And then we'll fight, right, buddy? And then
yeah,
yeah, pretty much. We move on to LA Knight, and top dollar.
Yeah. Yeah. And Bottom Sterling is what we'll call it.
There we go. So Friday was the 50th anniversary of hip hop. I don't know who coined that. But
it was also Hulk Hogan's birthday.
That is true. Yes, happy birthday, Hulkster, I guess.
Yeah.
But Michael Cole had a rap in honor of this, which was LA Knight, future so bright, top dollar, about to get smashed tonight.
And he did.
LA Knight wins with the BFT, the blunt force trauma. Yeah. I rated it 1 star. It was a glorified squash match. I'm glad that they lost. I'm glad he lost. Imagine the scene that had won that match.
Oh no, yeah. Christ. Internet wrestling community would have gone into meltdown.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we go backstage after this. Adam Pearce confirmed that Santos is cleared to wrestle, but he wants to make sure that Santos is happy to continue. Santos is determined, he's ready to do it, and the match is made, and it's up next. Yeah. We get a vignette. Lashley and the Profits. Lashley says that he sees a lot of potential in them, and he recounts their actions of last week when they attacked the Brutes. And he asks them to consider what they could achieve together. The sky is the limit for these trio, according to them, but there's no actual name given to the group yet. So we just have Lashley and the Profits.
Yeah, it's probably going to be similar to the Hurt Business, isn't it?
I hope not, because that just plays into what everyone on the internet saying.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be.
Hurt Business 2.0. Yeah. But yeah, that was all that was. And then we move on to the United States Championship match. Santos Escobar and Austin Theory, which ends in a no contest. because Santos makes his entrance. He's limping, but he's then taken out by Austin Theory on the ramp. Post-match, Theory cuts a promo that he's sorry the crowd can't see him wrestle tonight, and that he wants his hand raised. But meanwhile, as he's saying that, something's going on at the ramp area. A whole bunch of guys are there with Santos as he's like clutching his leg again. Adam Pearce is there, Personnel's there, Rey Mysterio's there. And then we literally get like the WrestleMania 9 Hulk Hogan Bret Hart thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I can't do this from you. And then
yeah.
And then Bret's like, yeah, do it, man. And Santos is like, yeah, do it, Ray. You can take the title. Like, yeah, go for it. And then
yeah.
we then follow with another US title match between Austin Theory and Rey Mysterio. Ray attacks Theory before the bell, and then they cut to commercial, and then Mysterio wins with a 619 slingshot splash. Yep. Which caught me really off guard, and I don't know why. Because I thought about the past and how Theory's been booked, and it's like, I shouldn't be surprised by this, but I am surprised by this.
I just don't think Rey Mysterio needs to win a championship.
Yeah, no, I'm entirely the same way, because this was a glorified squash match. Really.
Yeah, it really was. It did not go very long at all.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, why have Austin Theory be champion for so long if this is how he's going to lose it?
Exactly. Yeah. I rated 1.5 stars. It was nothing, and Theory was made to look like a chump.
What was the point in beating John Cena?
Yeah. He beat John Cena. He cashed in on the US title because it was just smart because he didn't want to cash in on Roman.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, he beat Cena afterwards. And then, this is how you lose it. After taking out your challenger, which is a smart thing to do as a heel.
Yeah.
And then losing to the smaller face guy.
Yeah. No, doesn't make sense. And like I said, Mysterio's at the stage where he doesn't need a championship. It's a bit similar to AJ in that thing where he should be being used to elevate people.
Yeah, precisely. Don't know what the thinking is, but alas, he's champion and everywhere you are, I guess.
Yeah.
But we move on to the main part of this show, which is the segment they've been hyping up the entire time. Who else would it be? It's the WWE Universal Undisputed 24/7 Subway. Yeah. Chicken nugget, I don't know.
European.
Eurocontinental.
Yeah.
Fuck me. It's Roman Reigns, and he's here with Sotokawa and Paul Heyman. He does his usual shtick. Then he asks where Jimmy is, and this prompts Jimmy to then appear. And then we get some weird thing where Roman's like, what do you want, man? What do you want, Oos? Do you want money? Do you want material items? Do you want cars? Do you want houses? I can make anything happen for you. And then Jimmy's like, he don't want anything to happen. He wants nothing to do with Bloodline. He just wants Jay, basically. Yeah. And then suddenly on cue, here comes Jay. Wrestling's real. Jimmy appeals to Jay. Basically, he just says like he didn't want to see Jay become like Roman, become this sociopath, maniac, evil guy, and that he loves Jay, and then he offers Jay the chance to hit him, which Jay doesn't do.
Yeah.
Roman then taunts this, and then gets super kicked for shovels. Solo tries to retaliate and misses a Samoan spike, and then Roman catches Jay with a Superman punch. He tries for a spear, and then speared himself. All the while, Jimmy's not looking, he's walking up the ramp very slowly. Very drama queenish of him. And then after Roman is laid out, Jay gets out the ring, calls for Jimmy, and then this is the best part for me of this entire thing.
Yeah.
He comes out and he's like, Oos, come. And then Jimmy's like, hey, Oos, you want to reconcile? and then he goes towards Jay, and then Jimmy's got his arms out, he's ready to hug him and embrace him. And as he gets towards him, and then he just lays out Jimmy, does Jay. And then we get the ending shot, which everyone saw. Jay gets in the camera's face, and he says he's done with the Bloodline, and he's done with SmackDown, and he's done in WWE.
Yeah.
Before leaving the crowd CM Punk style.
He said something. He used a funny catchphrase, didn't he? Where it was like,
he said deuces, ooses.
Yeah, that's the one. Like, okay. Yes, Brentford.
Yes, bruv.
Yeah. So weird. But yeah, it was, as always, this sort of stuff does carry the show. So
Yeah,
it's going to be
absolutely.
weird when this isn't happening and SmackDown has to live alone
It makes you
in
wonder, like,
SmackDown land.
will they bring on like Jacob Fatu and the other Fatu who's recently debuted in wrestling? It's like,
Well, yeah, exactly. It's how far do you go before you just get to the ultimate goal, which is Rock and Roman? Like,
yeah,
how long are you going to stretch this?
the ultimate oos.
Yeah, the actual tribal chief.
But have you seen
Yeah,
the rumors, by the way, with Jey Uso about how it's not a work and all that, and how his contract, apparently his no compete clause ends 5 days before All In.
yeah, no. It's not happening. They do not put people in this position to watch them go.
Exactly, and also
They will be very well prepared for this.
exactly if he was genuinely leaving, the camera wouldn't have been on him saying, "Oh, I'm done with this. I'm done with that." Like,
Yeah, no, it's not happening. Anyone who thinks that this is a possible, what drugs are you taking? Leave it in the comments.
please do, yeah, and then let us know the numbers of your dealers, and then we'll
Yeah, and then we'll take it from there.
yeah, we'll get one on the show. We'll get one on the show.
Yeah, they can review a show. That'll be fun. But yeah, that was the end of SmackDown. So with that, we will move into Monday Night Raw.
Yes, we will. So Monday Night Raw, 14th of August. We kick things off with a Judgment Day, as we always do on Raw.
I know I picked Cody for some reason to open the show. I was like, what am I even? And then when Judgment Day opened, I was like, of course it was the Judgment Day.
It's always there. It's been like them the last, like, I don't know, like not consecutively, but it's been like, I don't know, 7 out of 8 shows they've opened. Like,
it's like Orange Cassidy opening Dynamite.
yeah, precisely. It's very predictable at this point. And if it ain't for that 1 week that they've done it, they'll be on the next week.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah,
so
no,
this week I'm going to predict Judgment Day open the show and it's going to be Cody, right?
probably something like that, yeah, or Sami Zayn or Riddle.
Yeah, just anyone.
Yeah, but yeah, so we kick things off on Judgment Day. They're all here except Balor. Priest is annoyed that Balor's not here. They admit communication hasn't been their strong point. This prompts slight confusion from Rhea, but here comes JD McDonough, everyone's savior, who is described by commentary as Finn Balor's friend. That's literally it. He's described as Finn Balor's friend, not established wrestler, not former NXT, like alumni, whatever. But
yeah.
Anyway, so JD has a message from Balor, which is not to focus on Balor and instead of focus on Zayn and Cody. I thought they were in a tag match or something later on. They're not.
Yeah.
Rhea and Dom don't take kindly to this, and Dom is then booed out of the arena. And then JD begins to leave, and he's chased by Sammy because of last week's attack on Sammy by JD. Then this leads to the first match of the night, which is Sami Zayn and JD McDonough.
Yep.
Sami Zayn wins after the haluva kick. I rated this 3.25 star. A very fun match between the two of them. Considering that Sammy wrestled half of it with one arm as well.
Yeah.
Which he's got to sell at some points, but that's neither here nor there. It's good to see JD actually have a match on the roster though, and even though he lost clean to a guy with one arm, it is what it is. Sammy wins to progress the story and complete his story before Cody does his.
Yes, there is a lot of stories being completed on Raw.
Finish the story.
Yeah.
So if Rake was here, this would be his favorite part of the show. We go backstage. Adam Pearce is here with Chelsea Green, who's ready to be the stripper of the women's tag titles because Sonya is injured. Chelsea's not having it though. She's going to host auditions called Chelsea's Got Talent, which is a whole different subsection of Britain's Got Talent. But do auditions basically to find a new tag partner. And then she is interrupted by Katana Chance and Kaden Carter, who won a tag title shot against just Chelsea. And then suddenly Katana's taken out by this mystery person who, if you saw the gear, you know who it was straight away. It's Piper Niven.
Yeah.
And then she declares that she's Chelsea's new tag partner, and then she pushes Chelsea along and they leave, and they're champions now.
Yeah, it was wild. She just took the title off her and was just like, this is mine now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. This is how it works now, because just find the title on the ground. Oh, this is mine now. Like, I'm champion.
Yeah. Finders keepers.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Was it petitions 9 times the law?
Yeah.
So we remain backstage. Interview of Cody. Cody hasn't been in Winnipeg for a while, and he's looking forward to fighting Balor later.
Yeah.
Imperium make their entrance, and Gunter speaks to the crowd. He trash talks Canada and Winnipeg, then talks about Chad Gable, saying he's achieved more in 1 year than Chad has his entire career. Out comes Chad. He mentions beating Gunter's beat the clock challenge thing a few weeks ago, and now Gunter's on the clock because he's less than a month away from being the longest reigning IC champion ever. Gable.
It would be so wild if Gable was the one who ended this.
That would be amazing. I mean, on one hand, I really want Gunter to beat the record because he deserves it, but on the other hand, I'm like, Gable winning would be cool as well.
Yeah, whoever, if someone was to beat Gunther this close to him breaking the record, whoever it is, it's big.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I can't see any reason not to let him do it now. I feel like it'd just be wasted if they don't have him beat it.
Oh, you got so close.
Yeah, it's like, well, and then Gable will probably lose it in about 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Gunter's going to beat 2 records now, isn't he? He's going to beat the IC title record, and then he beat the Rumble record, didn't he? In January.
Yep.
So,
and I honestly think he probably beats that again at this year's Rumble when he wins it.
That's decent. I would like that. And number 1, number 2, win it.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair. But basically Gable and Gunter exchange barbs, and then that leads to Ludwig trying to chat up Maxine Dupree. Why?
This
I don't know.
Wild, by the way. It's so like, why has this started to be a thing? Like the last few weeks he's been doing this, and I'm just like, I get it, but I don't in terms of your character.
Maxine Dupree joins Imperium.
Yeah. Yeah, madness. He got the shit slapped out of him though. It was quite funny.
That was a very good slap, I will say. Yeah.
Yeah.
But from that we move on to the next match of the night, which is Giovanni Vinci and Chad Gable. Gable wins with the Chaos Theory. 3 stars. This was enjoyable. Also quite a short match, but that's generally how you should be booking Gable in the run up to sort of title challenges. Because shorter matches make him look more like a threat, especially against Gunter's guys.
Yeah.
And even if he loses, which he probably will, he's getting treated as a viable threat to Gunter, which is ultimately what you'd want, and Gunter can make him look like $1 million.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I'm looking forward to that match when it happens in a few weeks.
Same, because all Gunter matches are bangers. So.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of bangers, Gunter's angry, so he challenges Otis to a match.
Yes, the match we all wanted to see.
Yes, Otis and Gunter. Gunter wins a powerbomb.
Yeah, pretty much.
2.25 star. Ultimately, it's not much. Gunter's the one carrying this match, naturally. You can't do much of Otis. Otis is a good character, but he's not a good wrestler. Like, he's alright in the ring, but ultimately he's not going to be able to achieve much.
No.
But yeah, like I said, until then we do Otis matches until we get to the match with Gable and Gunter.
Yeah.
We go backstage. Damian Priest and Finn Balor are arguing again, and then Rhea comes in. She's playing Peacekeeper again. This continues until JD McDonough comes in again, and Damian scares him away. And then Balor's ready for Cody, and he's ready to get to Judgment Day on winning terms again. So him and Priest somehow make peace, I guess.
Yeah.
We get a backstage. We remain backstage. We get an interview with Drew McIntyre. Drew is asked what's next for him. And then Riddle comes out of nowhere to suggest starting a tag team with Drew. Riddle's already accepted the match against the Viking Raiders and wants Drew to be his tag partner. Drew accepts if no one else will do it. And then we get Matt Riddle versus the Viking Raiders. So this is the handicap match because Riddle hasn't got a partner. But no, in a weird fashion, we get Riddle comes out first, then the Viking Raiders, then before the bell rings, out comes Drew.
Yeah, of course.
So naturally that leads to Riddle and Drew against the Viking Raiders.
Yep.
Which they win, Drew and Riddle do, following a Claymore from Drew onto Eric.
Are they going to be called like Driddle?
Oh, they had a name, didn't they? They already said the name.
Did they?
I can't remember the name off the top of my head. Oh, that's annoying.
It's got to be Bro something.
It's something Bros or Bro something, yeah. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head now.
Ah, well.
It's
anyway, not going to last very long.
No, probably not. I rated this 2.5 stars. It didn't do much for me. It was alright. It was a bog standard tag match for me. I want to see more from the Viking Raiders and not be jobbers, essentially. I get Drew and Riddle are bigger. I know. I guess I know Drew and Riddle are bigger on the food chain, but I can see a turn coming. Either for Drew or for Riddle, I don't know who, but I think it'd be nice to get a rivalry going between those two.
They are called the Glass Bros.
Thank you. That's it. The Glass Bros. Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not sure how much longevity this team has.
Enough to have a name, apparently.
I mean, anyone gets a name. 1 week in a team, like you get a name, like.
Well, that's what Rate usually does. He just makes up names.
Oh, that's right, like Kasami. Yeah. So we go backstage to the locker room. Raquel Rodriguez gives Indy Hartwell a pep talk before her match, which is up next. We remain backstage. Riddle talks with Drew about going after the tag titles. They're cut off by New Day, who disagree and challenge them to a match. Riddle accepts on behalf... Oh, I had it written down here. Riddle accepts on behalf of the Glass Bros.
Oh, of course you have it written down.
Fuck's sake. So we move on to Rhea Ripley and Indy Hartwell. In the match, that is. Rhea wins with Riptide.
That was about all that match was.
Yeah, won the quarter-star. I probably shouldn't have rated it because it was literally, as you said, it was just that.
Yeah.
But Rhea carries it to something, so I can't ignore that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there we are. Post-match, Candice attacks Rhea for some reason, and with Indy, they get the upper hand on Rhea. I don't really get what that was at all. Because Rhea wasn't going to attack Indy anyway, so...
Yeah.
So, whatever. Here comes perhaps my favourite part of the show. The Shinsuke promo. Shinsuke's in a suit. He looked incredibly suave. He got a promo that is more or less entirely in Japanese.
Yeah.
Which was amazing. If you're going to be a foreign heel, you do your gimmick in your actual in your actual language that you speak primarily. But he says basically in English, I got the English for it. I was fed up of various things, maybe even of myself. So I asserted myself because I want my true nature. Why? Why do you ask? Because it's the quickest way to prove yourself. I want more. I'm not satisfied. I can go higher. I can be who I want to be. After he says that, Seth comes out, confronts him for the English part of the promo. Seth's fighting champion, and he just gives Shinsuke a title match at a date of Shinsuke's choice. They shake hands. Shinsuke whispers something in Seth's ear. Seth's confused, goes to leave, and they get Kishasa'd.
Yeah, it was weird. Everyone speculated on the internet that he actually told him he was going to let him win. And that's why Rollins was so confused.
Like, I'm winning, brother. Like,
yeah.
How about the Hulkster? We go backstage with an interview with The Miz. Miz is angry that LA Knight's over, and he promises to beat someone next week. That's all that was.
Yeah, he says to Byron Saxton, doesn't he? Like, is he an LA Knight guy now? And he says, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then Miz is like, don't say yeah again.
Yeah.
And then I wrote here, now it's time for the actual Whoa song. It's Trish Stratus and Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
Whoa, it's time to rock and roll. But no, this ends in a no contest. Double count out as the fight goes into the crowd.
Yeah, in the rivalry that will not end.
If this is what we're going to get at SummerSlam, I'm glad it wasn't on a SummerSlam card.
It should have just been, they should have just had the actual match on SummerSlam and be done.
Mm-hmm. But no, we're getting this continued on.
Yeah.
I rated 2 stars. The match itself wasn't that bad, but it also wasn't that good. And then post-match, they continue fighting, and Zoe Stark's involved, and then they leave Becky grounded, basically. They win the backstage fight.
Yeah.
And then we remain backstage. Gunther is yelling at Vinci and Kaiser about what's happened recently, how they've not, been Gunther's actual, supporters. He's not upholding the name of Imperium. It just says they will defend the IC title against Chad Gable next week.
Yep.
So cool. That's something to look forward to. Speaking of things to look forward to, Trish Stratus and Zoe Stark are confronted about Adam Pearce. This is still backstage, who tells them that the saga of Becky and Trish will continue, but in a steel cage next time they meet.
That's got to be on pay-per-view. It can't be on Raw.
Put it on Raw. Go on.
I would lose my mind.
Enter the no contest.
Probably, yeah. And then we get Hell in a Cell. We'll put a roof on it.
So it's a steel cage.
Yeah.
Oh god, we'll put a steel cage on top of a steel cage on top of a steel cage.
And it'll still end in no contest.
Yeah. Fuck's sake. And then we move on to the main event, which was Cody Rhodes and Finn Balor. Cody wins at the Crossroads, as if there's any other ending with that match. 2.5 stars. It was an alright TV match. It felt a little convoluted due to the amount of interference from Judgment Day. And Cody using the briefcase was meant to be like comeuppance for, Balor and Judgment Day. But it made Cody look desperate. When he's meant to be like this ultimate babyface sort of guy, he shouldn't be using the briefcase. In my opinion, anyway.
I get it. When the numbers are against you, you're just going to get the win, aren't you?
I know, but I don't know. Like, Cody feels like this righteous, I must avenge my father and I must win with pride and dignity and all that. Like,
I don't think this is to do with the title at the minute.
Yeah, maybe.
So it's fine. Like, if you're in a situation where you've got, 4-on-1 essentially.
Yeah.
You're gonna do whatever it takes to win. So no, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, like I said, only my opinion on it anyway. Post match, Sami Zayn makes the run in to save Cody. He's busy being beaten up by Judgment Day. And JD McDonough comes out and makes the anti-save by taking out Zayn. And then they stand tall, Judgment Day, with JD looking on from outside.
Yeah.
And that is your ending shot of Raw.
Yeah, it's wild to me that it took Sami Zayn so long to get to the ring.
You've got to remember, he's got a one bad arm.
Ah, yes, because he walks on that one bad arm. But yeah, that was the end of Raw with all 7 matches. That I think the longest match was about 13 minutes.
I didn't time them, but that sounds all right. Yeah.
I think the main event was the longest, like nearly 14. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Raw was a bit meh.
That's how I would describe Raw in a nutshell.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah. Yeah, which is exactly how I feel about the next show, Collision.
Yes. So, AEW Collision, 12th of August. We kick things off with Ricky Starks in an interview. He talks about his actions from last week. He's been suspended. He doesn't accept blame for his actions as it was necessary to do. And that he's applied for a manager's license and claims that the war with CM Punk has not ended.
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
we're still getting stuck to Punk at some point.
Yeah.
We move on to the first match of Collision, which is the Acclaimed taking on the Iron Savages, which is formerly Bear Country, Bronson Boulder. The Acclaimed win with dual famouses.
Yep.
Post-match, Caster says that the Acclaimed are back to being a two-man team, and that they're wrestling again on Dynamite, and a Billy Gunn tribute follows with the boots. I don't know what my hand up for, but
Yeah.
yeah, they had the boots basically. It was like Billy Gunn's not dead. He's still with us in soul, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Why are they acting like Billy Gunn is dead?
I can tell you. This is all that remains of Billy Gunn. His boots.
Yeah.
He evaporated, and his ashes are in the boots.
Yeah. Christ.
Fucking hell. I rated this 2.5 stars. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. It wasn't a glorified squash match. It was an old school kind of tag match where both teams had their spots. Ultimately, the Acclaim won because, they're the Acclaim. They were going to win. But the Iron Savages did have points where they're like, oh shit, they might actually win this, which is a good little thing to see, and wasn't like, oh hey, it's a dark match. And then to end things off, F1 loves the Acclaimed.
Yeah.
We go backstage. We got an interview with Bullet Club Gold. They say they're the best, and that the Guns will be facing the Boston Dynamite. Sweet.
Yeah.
Go back to the ring. Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander taking on Mercedes Martinez and Diamante. Mercedes and Diamante win after a sunset flip pin from Mercedes and assistance from Diamante. 2.5 stars I rated this. It was a fine tag match. The result was unexpected, but I guess the direction must be for Mercedes to take on Chris for the TBS title rather than Willow, which I thought was the initial direction for this, but apparently not. Diamante and Mercedes do look good as a team, so it's a good fit, and I don't know what they're going to do next, but whatever they do, I hope it's good.
Yeah.
Backstage, we have an interview with Tony Storm. Tony has an entertaining exchange with Lexi Nair, the interviewer. She's out of sorts, but she's happy that Saraya is in the four-way at Wembley Stadium. For those who don't know, Tony's been walking around in like this dressing gown situation because ever since losing the title, she's been out of sorts, like in a frazzled mind state, sort of thing. So that's why she's been like that. And as she walks off screen, she throws a shoe at Lexi. Which was quite fun to see. So the next match I popped for because it was Samoa Joe, one of my absolute favourites, against another one of my indie favourites, Andrew Everett. I was like, fuck yeah, Andrew Everett's on this show. So Joe wins, obviously, with the Coquina clutch. I rated it 1 star. It was a squash match. It's a shame because I really like watching Andrew. But oh well, at least he got a payday.
Yeah, I mean, there's that for 1 minute and 17 seconds worth of work.
I wonder how much they're paid for 1 minute 17 minutes worth of work.
Probably more than I get.
Post match, Joe calls out Punk again and he calls him a coward. Moving on, Christian Cage is here with Luchasaurus. Christian claims that this is the largest family gathering he's been in, as everyone in North Carolina is related. Christian talks about respect and how Duggan doesn't respect him. Out comes Arn Anderson with his son Brock Lesnar Anderson. Arn mentions that Luchasaurus is champion, not Christian. Christian's quick to react and challenges Arn. Arn says if he was 20 years younger, he'd do it, but for now, Brock will do. Which leads to the most unnecessary match I think I've ever seen. Luchasaurus and Brock Anderson. Luchasaurus wins with a chokeslam and a clothesline to the back of the head. I rated it 1 star. It was bad.
Solid defense by Christian here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Luchasaurus wins, still champion. Christian.
Yeah.
I said this was an unneeded squash that added nothing to anything. It gave Luchasaurus a win on his record, and that's it.
What I think is going to be absolutely wild when Luchasaurus finally does lose that title is that he's going to lose, and the person who becomes champion isn't going to be champion because Christian is going to have the belt.
He's just clutching the title.
Yeah, it's like, no.
This is my
Possession is 9/10 of the law.
Yeah. Oh, me. Post match, Darby makes a save for Brock and then changes Christian to a match next week. Christian then agrees. I assume that is for Collision next week because, well,
Yeah, it's got to be on it.
We'll get to Dynamite, but spoiler, it's not there. We get an interview with Powerhouse Hobbs. Hobbs has found the Book of Hobbs again. And now it's time for the next chapter, which is entitled Redemption. And I'm like, Redemption, Redeemer. Call out Miro. And he's like, he's got to redeem himself. So he calls out the Redeemer, Miro. Yeah, I'm like, yeah. And then Miro comes out, but he's jumped by QTV. QT Marshall, Aaron Solo, Johnny TV, them lot.
Yeah.
Miro clears them out and then gets in the ring to get a spine buster from Hobbs. So inadvertently, Hobbs worked with QTV.
Yeah.
After that, we move on to the Trios Championship. Trios Championships. Sorry, main event. Champions, House of Black, take on CMFTR.
Dumbest name ever.
CMFTR.
Yeah, no, it's dumb, as is the reason for this match.
Which is, why not? So yeah, House of Black retain after a lariat from Brody King on Dax Harwood. Despite the reasoning behind the match, I did rate it 4 stars. It was an incredible trios match.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad match at all.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what Collision seems to do. You just put on long ass matches in the main event that have no reason to be there, but are just longer good wrestling.
Yeah, like a long match that features one of the following: CM Punk, FTR, House of Black, one of them lot.
Yeah. That is the show. And it's for no reason whatsoever other than that they are going to have a good match.
Yeah, precisely. So towards the end of the match, Joe gets Punk in the audience area and chokes him out in the audience area, which is what then leads to the lariat from Brody on Dax.
Yeah.
So that'll probably get addressed next week as well from Punk, and we'll probably then confirm Punk and Joe at Wembley, which I'm really hoping for because I want to see Punk and Joe.
Yeah, I mean, it probably shouldn't go unsaid, but there was things that happened after this went off the air.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't fully know about them, but if you want to go into it, feel free.
I mean, it's very objective. People will be on one side or the other. That Punk basically called out Hangman again, completely unprovoked.
Mm-hmm.
And it's obviously not going to be addressed from Hangman neither. But I just think CM Punk needs to grow up. I think the whole situation's a bit of a joke, like on both sides. But Punk's just not helping anyone with this shit he keeps pulling. I
don't know what the reasons are behind it. I don't know what the provocation was. I just say there was none.
No. Like literally, the elite are being told not to say anything, so they're not. And it's just like, well, what is Punk trying to do? Like, because he's not setting up a feud because they're not going to talk. And it's clearly like it is the money feud in the company that's never going to happen unless everyone grows up.
Yeah, precisely.
The only person losing in all this is Tony Khan.
Literally. Just put the program already. Just let them all air out their dirty laundry in public and just.
Yeah, and just be like, you work for me. You will work with him. I am paying your money.
I
You
don't
will
care.
do what I tell
Yeah,
you to do.
I don't care what you say to each other in the ring in the promos. Yeah,
Yeah.
just say what you want to say. Like, just,
Yeah, and work
people,
together.
people want to see this. They want to see this car
Yeah.
crash.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they absolutely do. And as long as they don't take it too far and they be professional,
hmm
I'll pay you for it very handsomely.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Punk gets paid handsomely even if he's not there, but
Yeah.
I think we're not there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was the end of Collision.
Yeah, thank God. It is literally just a show that has decent matches. Like, I still don't see much story
Well,
development apart from like Christian.
you saw the Brock Anderson was one hell of a match.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's wild to me that they've got a wrestling show that is like actually a wrestling show that doesn't build stories. Yeah. So we'll move on to Dynamite.
Yes, we shall. This is one I wrote haphazardly and very quickly.
Yeah.
So Dynamite for the 16th of August. We kick things off with the international title match. So as you were saying earlier, kick off things with Orange Cassidy.
Way.
You got a point. Yeah.
I actually did.
But yeah, Cassidy retains with a pin reversal into a roll up. I rated 3.25 stars. Very fun opener. These two tend to have good matches, so I'm not surprised. So why not open with these two? Because they're gonna have a good match to start things off, and that set the show on a good tone. Post match though, the Combat Club beat down OC. Best friends come out, try to help. They get beaten. Then come the Lucha Bros who come out and help out. They then even the odds in a 5-on-3 situation. And then finally, Eddie Kingston makes his return from competing in a G1. He makes a beeline straight for Claudio. They clear the ring. And then Eddie makes a challenge for Wembley. Them 6 against BCC and 3 people they can find. Stadium Stampede.
Yeah, that's going to be wild how that works.
I cannot wait. The first ever live Stadium Stampede.
Yeah.
It's going to be in the studio, in the stadium, with 80,000+ fans watching.
Do you not think they're going to pre-film this like they usually do?
I hope they don't, because the vibe and the environment you can build off doing this match among the crowd.
Yeah.
Like, don't do anything stupid. Like, don't get fans involved and shit, but, you know, fight on the stairs, fight in the tiers, fight on the roof. Like,
It's not Stadium Stampede if you do that, though. Because you can just do that anyway.
yeah, suppose.
I don't know how it's going to work. Like, if it works like that, then fair enough. It'll be a good fight for everyone in the stadium. I just think when you look at previous Stadium Stampedes, it's not how it works.
No, that is true. Normally it's like pre-filmed and an empty stadium, and
yeah,
I hope that it's not pre-recorded because I've got my hopes up for this match now for no reason. If it is pre-recorded,
yeah, I know you're just gonna be sat there watching the screen for half.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what's the point of even being here? Like,
yeah.
But yes, following on from that, we get a vignette. It's the sit-down interview with Kenny Omega with JR. Kenny talks about trying to justify not making his whole life about revenge on Don Callis. And then speaking of him, here comes Don Callis to taunt Kenny. And then Kenny goes to leave because he doesn't want to hit Don. He's jumped by Jay White and Joe Robinson, who beat him up, followed by Takashita. They attack Kenny until the scene cuts away. We get no follow-up until Hangman appears backstage, or in the vignette, I don't know what it was. Hangman's at the hospital, which is just an iron shutter with an ambulance behind him, which is very clearly not a hospital. He comments that when you attack, when you ambush someone, you make sure you do your job, make sure it's all ended, and that Kenny is nowhere near being ended, and that at Wembley they'll face them, and Kenny won't be alone. He'll be with Hangman and one of Kenny's other greatest partners, Kota Ibushi.
Yeah.
So that's what we're getting as well at Wembley, the 6-man tag. Which it's very mixed opinions on that one. You know,
Yeah.
It's like you got Kenny, Hangman, Ibushi, and then on one side and the other side you got Jay, Juice, and Takashita, which is a good match in itself, but ultimately people wanted Omega and Takashita out of that lot. I mean, obviously there's not much people wanted, but we'll get to that. But yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I like it, but obviously I'm one opinion.
Yeah.
We move on to the Don Callis in-ring promo. He's here again. This time he's talking about Chris Jericho. Will Jericho join Don Callis family? Jericho says yes. Jericho is going to join the Don Callis family. But as they leave, Jericho notices a painting, like a weird, like an easel thing with like a cloth on it to cover out. He says he wants to see what it is, and he unveils it to Don's protests, which has a picture of Don Callis holding the decapitated head of Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
Don tries to talk his way out of the painting. Jericho then cuts down Callis with cruel and hard facts, calling him a low-life worm and a piece of trash asshole. This thing is a slap from Callis. Takashita attacks, and he's held at bay by Jericho until suddenly Jericho is attacked by a mystery person, and that person is none other than your boy, Will Ospreay.
Yes, yes it is.
He attacks Jericho with a chair, and then Guevara makes a save.
Absolutely clobbered him with that chair as well.
It was a very. I mean, obviously Jericho knows how to take a shot like that, but fuck it out.
I know, yeah.
So there is something that comes off that, but we will get to that later because it's not been official as of yet. And in the time of the show, I mean, obviously by now it is official. But so next thing we have is a match. Darby Allin and Nick Wayne take on the Gates of Agony, which is Toa Leona and Bishop Korn.
Yeah.
How you pronounce it. Darby and Nick win after a coffin drop on Bishop Korn. I rated 2.5 stars. It was a standard tag match. Didn't really add to anything. I get what it was for, but again, didn't really do anything except give Darby and Nick another win over like the Mogul Embassy. And then comes the thing that everyone talks about from this match, which is the post-match. Sting appears on Titantron and gives a warning to AR Fox before hyping up Wembley. And then he reveals he's kidnapped Prince Nana.
Yeah.
And he says, it's showtime. And then we're like, and then you notice slightly there's like these like little red marks on like his lips. That's like a forced smile. So Joker Sting potentially is back.
Yeah, but you can't maths.
Well, no one can. Only Scott Steiner can.
Well, I mean, he thinks he's got a coffin match at Wembley in 9 days, so.
It's he's in his 50s. It's fine. We all get like that.
It's in his 60s, isn't he? Or is he
might-
57?
I can't remember. I thought it was 50s.
I feel like he's 62.
He might be. Yeah, it's something like it's between 50 and 60. It's something like that. So we get a vignette. MJF and Adam Cole are at a steakhouse. Then they're backstage, and then they're hunting Australian crocodiles. MJF teases this new move, which is called like the kangaroo punch or something like that.
Right.
They hit a double clothesline on a random guy who's holding the inflatable crocodile. And then Tony Khan, so let's say it cuts to Tony Khan's office, and Tony Khan is reprimanding both Cole and MJF.
Yeah.
But like double clotheslining people, just random staff members. So we get them in a car. They pull up in a car backstage, and then MJF has to go for a shit. Literally, he says he's got to go for a shit.
Yeah.
And then Cole walks off, and then Roderick Strong appears. He's like, Cole, and then Cole walks off, and Cole doesn't really acknowledge him, and then Strong's like, oh man.
Yeah.
We get then the in-ring promo with Adam Cole and MJF. So 3 things in a row with Adam Cole and MJF.
I know.
They hype up Wembley. tag match, and in the main event, they both share stories about how they got there, where they are now. They tease a confrontation, and then before they can do anything, they're attacked by Aussie Open. Cole and MJF clear the ring though, and then Cole teases going for a super kick on MJF, but before MJF turns around fully, Cole reverts back to his normal stance.
Yeah.
And then they hug it out. So when that turn happens, it's going to be something.
It's going to be MJF turning, that's why.
It could well be, I don't know. I don't know at this rate. I really don't.
Yeah.
So we move on backstage to an interview with Chris Jericho. Jericho wants to destroy Ospreay, and he wants to do it in England. He wants to do it at Wembley.
Yeah.
So confirmed.
Yeah.
Chris Jericho with Ospreay.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know about this.
The way I see it is, anyone who wrestles Ospreay can have their best match of Ospreay.
Oh, absolutely. I still think Jericho will be shite.
I don't know. I feel like he'll put in more effort because this is, like the biggest show in pro wrestling until WWE run Wembley next year or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited for it. It's the first time match, and even if it's bad, I can say I've seen Jericho and Ospreay.
Yeah.
And probably the only time that will happen. And let's do it all out.
Yeah, I was going to say, unless they do it, well, I mean, they could do it again. It depends what they decide to do, because I really feel like the way to go here is Ospreay win. But...
You would think so, but I don't know what Ospreay has to gain from winning.
I
don't know.
I don't know. Weird. It's notoriety of beating Chris Jericho, I suppose. Just beat Omega. No, he's beat Chris Jericho.
I feel like if Jericho wins, he could fight Will in Japan for the US title as well. Also, the UK title, sorry, now.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see, I guess. So now we move on to... Oh my god. We move on to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Deathmatch.
Yeah.
Jeff Hardy and Jeff Jarrett. Who is the real Jeff? Let's find out. Jeff Jarrett wins after a chokeslam from Satnam Singh.
Nobody won here.
Nobody won.
Nobody. It's like this match did nothing for no one.
Exactly. I don't know what the point of it was, other than obviously the time with a new video game, whatever. But 1.5 star I rated this. This was sensationally bad. It was like something that you had to watch because of how bad it was.
Yeah. 1.5 stars was like 1.5 stars more than it needed to be.
Probably. But Jeff gets this weird title belt which has the picture of Leatherface on it. It's a weird cheap looking belt. I have no idea what it actually was called. The first half of the match you can't see because of poor lighting. And the second half is rife with interference and shenanigans. Not to mention the fucking paid actor who comes out in a fucking full-on Leatherface outfit.
Yeah.
With a fucking chainsaw, swinging it around like Chainsaw Charlie. He chases up Karen Jarrett and then inadvertently costs Hardy the match.
Yeah.
This is something more suited for Rampage than Dynamite, but hey.
More suited to the bin.
Yeah, too fair, yeah.
Speaking of things more suited to the bin.
Yes. Britt Baker, DMD, and the Bunny. This is for the final spot in that 4-way women's match at Wembley. Britt wins at the curb stomp.
They did not advertise that very well.
They didn't. No, you're right. They didn't. It was like, oh, the Bunny's back.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, this is a qualifying match. Is it?
For what?
Yeah.
I rate this 1 star. It was a lot of nothing. It was slow paced. It completely went against Bunny's character because it starts with her being creepy, and then suddenly she's like, "Oh, you're gonna push me, are you?"
It was slow paced over 7 minutes, which made it feel like 70.
Yeah. Imagine
Britt
how I
Baker is
felt.
having a bad run of matches at the moment.
Yeah, and I can't explain it because she's not a bad wrestler.
No.
It's very weird. Is she just content? Like getting paid to do low tier matches now, or
This.
but yeah, that is your fatal four way: Britt Baker, Tony Storm, Saraya, and Hikaru Shida. That's the Wembley match. Should be fun.
The mad thing about that is, when I was thinking about that 4-way, then the 3 people I could remember were the 3 people who aren't champion. I couldn't remember who the champion was. Forgot it was Shida.
That is honestly fair because everything they've done with this division seems a bit like second thought.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't know. Shida is the right champion, but the way they're doing it is just off.
Yeah, I don't even think there is a right champion at this point. She's just the best of a bad bunch.
That is a good way of putting it. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. But
yeah,
we need to do something with that division.
Bring in Lacey Evans.
Could happen.
I hope not. But no, we move on to the Acclaimed. They've got a match. They took on 2 jobbers, and then they didn't take on 2 jobbers because they were attacked by the House of Black.
Yeah.
I didn't get the names of the jobbers because they didn't announce them.
Yeah, no,
get...
I didn't get anything.
Fair enough. But yeah, it doesn't happen, so the jobbers win. By default.
So they also got Billy Gunn's boots.
Yeah, precisely. They're going to bring back Billy Gunn from the dead, and they're going to put him on the House of Black. And then...
No, they're just going to have the trios match for the titles again, and they're probably going to win them.
Billy Gunn's boots on a pole match.
It was just like, it was so weird. Like, Julia took his boots, give them to Buddy Murphy, who give them to Brody, who give them to Black. Just like, there's 2 sequences there that don't need to happen. Just give them straight to Black.
To Malachi, yeah.
Yeah.
Very strange. Very strange.
Yeah.
But we move on to the main event, which was the main event, I guess. We had the Young Bucks taking on the Guns. The Young Bucks win when Matt reverses a roll up and uses the ropes.
Yeah.
Dirty tactics.
Yeah.
But 3 stars. Decent TV match. The Guns are getting better and better. And very soon they probably could do a believable title run with the titles. Not the first one they had, which was weird.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Bucks continue to show that they don't need to go all out for a dynamite match. Because this was them at like 50% capacity. They forgot to sell half the shit as well. Like,
not the Young Bucks. They don't forget to do things.
it was a good match. I think it was good that they held back to let the Guns show more of themselves.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the Bucks probably should have done more to make this a better match. But whatever. The Bucks win. They're going to fight FTR. Speaking of FTR, they clear the ring after Jay and Juice jump the ring. FTR tease going for a shatter machine, and then they don't. And then they confront the Bucks, like, face-to-face thing. And that ends Dynamite.
Yeah, it's been a really average week wrestling-wise.
It really has.
So, yeah, I mean, not really much else to say or end that on. Yeah, it's hard to pick out anything that sort of stood out during the week. So, I mean, I don't know if there's anything for you that you thought, yeah, that was good.
Maybe the Gunther stuff. Not Otis. I meant the Gable match with Vinci.
Yeah. It's kind of difficult to put your finger on something, but as always, we do enjoy reviewing the shows and doing this podcast, so we will continue to do so. Even though we shit on most of the stuff that happens, I mean, it's and it's not even limited to one company. Next week again, it will be myself and DP, as we alluded to earlier. Ray is still on holiday. So yeah, thanks for that, Ray. But yeah, like and subscribe on the YouTube. We are gaining followers, which is great, and we appreciate all of you. Comment, let us know what you like, what you don't like. Follow us on our Twitch at the HCW Show, Twitter at the HCW Show, Instagram HCW Show, Facebook the HCW Show, and on Threads HCW Show. They are all the socials. Then you will have my individual Twitter handle here, and then DP's is going to be over there or there somewhere, depending on where he's positioned us on the screen. But yes, thank you very much as always. And have you got anything you'd like to add, DP?
No, not particularly. Just tune in to HW Show Squared on Sunday.
Yes, where DP is reviewing NXT and Rampage.
That's correct. Yes.
Perfect. So yeah, let us know if you enjoyed that one as well, because if you don't, we'll just stop him doing it. But yes, we will end everything there. So we will catch you next week. Good night.
And goodbye. Bang.